Orale, Holmes, it's me, Little Eater, the best podcast in Long Beach. Check it out, dog. We're at the Chicano Hollywood event. Let's go check it out.
Best podcast in Long Beach, California. This is Tacos and Workouts.
What it is.
Podcast.
All right. You know this guy, Alfred Robles, dog. Here he is, dog. Tell him who you is.
Yo, Alfred Robles, bro. What's up, foos?
And tell me, what are you doing here, dog?
I'm here for you, dog. They told me you were going to be here. The best podcast in Long Beach was here, so I had to be here.
You know that's right. All right, I'm going to ask you a question, dog. What's your favorite color? And then tell me why you're wrong.
Blue, why am I wrong?
I don't know, dog. Why are you wrong?
It's the best color out there, bro.
All right, check this out, dog. I have a question for you, dog. When do blind people know when it's time to stop wiping their butt if they can't see what color the toilet paper is?
The toilet paper is a scratch and sniff.
I knew it, dog. I knew it. That's what makes the most sense, dog. Where else are you going to be performing, dog?
Well, where we at, bro? Are we live, bro? Or what's up?
No, we're not live.
Are we live, bro? What channel we on, fool?
We're at Tacos and Workouts on YouTube.
Yo, I'm going to be in Bellflower next Friday, the 15th, September 15th. 2 shows, 8 p.m. and 10 p.m. It's the stand-up comedy club in Bellflower.
All right, dog. Hey, I want to thank you for your time, dog.
No, thank you, brother. I appreciate you.
All right, dog. I'm right here with Dick Salas, dog.
What up? How you guys doing?
Tell them what you do, dog.
I'm a comedian, I'm a veteran, I'm a producer, and and a host. So I go all over the place. I'm hosting here for the Elivate conference, Chicano Hollywood.
All right, dog. So check it out, dog. If you could marry the woman of your dreams or eat free tacos for the rest of your life, what kind of tacos would you choose, dog?
Oh, that's easy, bro. I'm going with al pastor all day. You know what I mean? Just because I'm telling you right now, like, you get the taco, look, you put some salsa on that thing, look, you're full. You know what I mean? And then I may not get the woman of my dreams, but I can get, like, one of the taqueras to, come hang out with me every night. And she's got some good horchata for you know what I'm saying? So I'm just saying, dog,
How'd you get started into comedies, dog?
I started in comedy when I got out of the military, and I was just trying to figure stuff out, what to do. I literally was trying different hobbies, and then stand-up was on the list, and ended up doing my first mic in LA, and then I ended up doing 2 more mics, and I got hooked, and next thing I know, 5-6 years later, here I am.
And you run your own room?
I'm a co-producer for the Court of Comics. We run about 6 different rooms right now in 4 different counties. We used to be in 5, and we're expanding more and more. We 2 different states, and I tour also all over the place. And do a lot of stuff with veterans as well. So raise money for charity and vets.
And what does a vato like me have to do to be able to get some stage time, dog?
Well, it's like what I tell every single comic that wants to get stage time. Hit me up, send me a DM, send me your shit, a little clip of like 3 to 5 minutes, and then we go from there, bro, and then we work out a date.
There you go. He told you how to do it, dog. All right, man. I know you're a busy guy. You got to get back in there, and you got to host the show, dog. Thank you for your time, dog.
Appreciate that, dog. And hey, the fool, you got to trim this a little more, dog. Just saying, man. You're starting to look like an Italian plumber, that's in a gangbang. All right, man. Catch you guys later.
All right, dog. I'm right here with Jerry Garcia, dog. Tell him who you is.
What's up, Jerry Garcia, comedian extraordinaire. I learned that word today, fool. Extraordinaire. That's what they brought me up with earlier.
What does it mean, dog?
I think it means that I'm just extra, right? There's comedians and then there's extra comedians. Like cheese on a burger, fool.
I like cheese on a burger, dog.
That's why we're on the same reaction here, dog. Come on.
Do you like cheese on a taco?
I'm getting to molitas, you mean? I'm down for some molitas, bro.
No, those are good, dog. Those are good.
Cheese on everything, fool.
Yeah, I was gonna say something X-rated, but let's keep it PG. So tell me, dog, you're having the time of your life, and you're having success with all your comedies, dog.
Gracias a Dios, way, it's going really well, dog. We're touring, selling out some shows, putting asses in seats, dude. And it's a dream come true right now, bro. I gotta keep that momentum going, fool.
It only took you 20 years to become famous overnight, right?
14 to be exact, bro. But yeah, you're right, bro. Like it takes a minute. But this last 2023 has been a really good year for us so far, dog.
Hey, dog, you have the Toxico tour going around, dog, and I'm not thinking, why am I not invited to the tour, dog? I'm the little hater. I'm the most toxico guy out there, dog. I got 5 minutes for you, dog. What's going on, dog? Come on.
A long list of toxicos and toxicas out there, dog, waiting to get on this tour, dog. Right now, I was just trying to set this up with us four. Once eventually we'll start transitioning out to more comedians, dog. So get ready, motherfucker. More than 5 minutes.
I could give you 10 or 15, dog. Yeah, it's like I'm gonna tell you like what I tell all the mijas, dog. Tell me how hard and how long you want it, dog, and that's how I'm gonna give it to you, dog.
For fake news right here, dog. Fake news.
All right, thank you for your time, dog.
Wait. Thanks. Chingale, wait. See you soon, fool.
Shit, dog. I thought they were tricking me into working into a soup kitchen or something today, dog. But I can smell the asbestos, and it's great in here, dog. Thank you for having me. No, I was happy to be here, dog. This is dope, man. A lot of good people out here, and I'm ready to learn some shit tonight for sure. Yeah.
Awesome. Give it up for Jerry, y'all. Alfred, anything you want to
What's
say?
up, man? I'm happy to be here. My name is Alfred Robles, bro, and I want to thank all of you guys for coming out, man. It shows a lot of love, dude. Si se puede.
What's up? I'm happy to be here. I'm usually behind the mic, but today I wanted to be fun and with all you guys and support all my people.
Yeah.
All right, so at this point, I'm going to let Joey take over, y'all, and enjoy the panel. Give it up for our comedians one more time, y'all.
Hey guys, all right. I thought you could have made me a couple things now, but that's all right. So, guys, thanks for, when they asked us to be here, we've actually been, all of us in this business for a very, very long time. We were doing it when Latino comedy wasn't even a thing. You know what I mean? When I first started doing stand-up comedy, I would have to send VHS tapes to comedy clubs to try to book me. And they would always say something like, oh, we already had so-and-so, or we already had Paul Rodriguez, we already had Carlos Mencia, but I'm like, I'm not them, I'm somebody different. And it wasn't until, fast forward, there was always Latino nights here and there, but that's all it was. We weren't really represented well. And then when they did the original Latin Kings of Comedy, which was bought by Paramount Pictures, who did the original Kings of Comedy, I knew that was going to be big, and it was. It was the first one that was in the theaters. It was actually in theaters first, then it was on Showtime, and then Comedy Central, and then now it's bootleg in downtown. But it's something that really started, and now I'm looking at comics like Jerry, like Alfred, and other comics, even younger, that are just comics. They're not Latino comics, they're comics. And that's so important. And with things like Edwin is doing, Edwin produced one of the first specials I ever did, which is called Latinpalooza. And my goal was always to bring us out there, because Latino comics are amazing comics. We don't just perform in LA, we just don't perform in New York, we perform all over the world. I'm the first American comedian to headline in Vietnam, not military, like for them, right? Which was cool, because I'm really tall there, and I really like that. I'm like, God, 3, 5, 4, 4, man. I was walking around all feeling good about myself. And but we could perform. Now, people now know who Latinos are. I think comics are one of the first to really represent us in the right way. And I'm just proud of being part of that.
You know that, man. Good from Mr. Joy Medina right here, dog. Come on.
Let me add a little bit to what you just said right now. I think that's why when we worked together the first time, I saw the challenges, right, in the business. I saw the lack of representation in the business, especially when it came to Latinos in comedy. And I saw the challenges that the early guys paved the way for, right? So it was one of the reasons why I ended up doing a deal with HBO and to try to put elevated Latino comedians into this platform, because I wanted to elevate the category. I wanted to elevate the comedian, put a spotlight in them. And that was the main goal. Is when you guys opened the doors for all these guys over here to run a little bit, now they're opening the doors for everybody else that's coming right beneath them, and they're doing it a little bit faster now, but the main goal was that, like, to open more doors for us. But thank you, though. Thank you and everybody that was there in the very beginning.
Yeah, and it's growing well, man. It's growing well. I mean, before, for like back in the day, in in 20 years, you could still only mention 4 Latino comics. That was it. And they were great, they were awesome, but that was it. And it was unfair because there were so many really good Latino comics out there who never really just had the opportunity to show the world what they can do.
That's dope, man. And because of you guys, there's more of us, more Latino comics just grinding and doing a great job. And you guys open the door for us.
And let me ask you, because I've always heard this, right? But I never really know about it. But when you guys were coming up in the business, I'm assuming that not only were there challenges, but some of the comedy clubs didn't even open up their doors to you guys, right? So you guys had to create your own circuit of Latino comedians. And we hate to identify them as Latino comedians because you guys are just entertainers. But that's what you had to do to even maneuver through this industry.
Well, yeah, like if unless you were, one of the top 3 Latino comics, you couldn't work the Laugh Factory unless it was Latino night. You couldn't work the Improv unless it was Latino night, and you couldn't get to these other clubs in the country, unless it was a Latino night. The comic strip in El Paso, which we talked about earlier, was the first Latino club or the first comedy club that started hiring Latinos because it's their demographic. And George Lopez, I think, and Paul Rodriguez were one of the first ones to work there. Myself, some other cats who also worked there. And now Latino comics are not just Latino comics. We are great comics, and you can see us all over the country.
Oh, yeah. And by the way, what you just said right now is really how I sold the idea to HBO. I just said, hey, I'm a usher in the next wave of Latino entertainers, because it's not just comedians. You guys write, you guys produce your own content, so you're like true, full-on entertainers.
Yeah, and that's what I like about this, and that's what I don't know. And we're gonna take a lot of questions from you guys, and I don't know where you're at in your careers, but I think it's very important to try to do both. I actually got into production before I even got into comedy. I went to television production school right after high school. And so I love directing, I love writing, I love producing, and I love doing projects. Like, I don't believe you have to make a Latino film, you have to have a Latino theme to have a Latino film. I think more like Robert Rodriguez, where if you have a regular story with a bunch of Latinos in it, you got a Latino film that happens just to be a good film, It doesn't have to be something about tortillas or about someone's abuela or whatever, you know what I mean? It can just be about anything, because we are just like everybody else. And there's actually more of us than probably everybody else, so they should start doing shit like we do.
Yes!
You know what I mean? That's what when I did like Producer with Edwin, I was afraid that it was just going to be their Latin Kings of Comedy forever. That was it. There was going to be no more. And I'm like, there's so many good people out there. And that's why I really said, when I came up with the idea for Latinapalooza, and thank God Edwin and his company picked it up, and it did really, really well. And it just showed what we can do. And so many other people took off after that, including Edwin. And, it's the sky's the limit.
And just to add on, as I started going in, looking at the landscape of comedians, I started noticing Alfred, I started noticing Jerry, and one of the things that stood out for me about Jerry is that his material, even though it's very Latino, like it's us, but it's also broad. Like he's talking about his family, he's talking about his kids, talking about his ex. That's things that anybody can relate to, right? Yeah. And I remember when I gave this platform, like, hey, this is the next comedian that I want to do a half hour with. And to them it was like, oh no, he's very this, and that's it, right? And I'm like, no, but look at his subject matter. The subject matter is wife, kids, the struggle of being a single parent. I'm like, that's anybody. And then when his half hour got released, they started seeing that they have that audience. They just didn't know that audience was there. And for you, it's like, Jerry, like, how often did you get boxed into this place where you're only a Latino comedian, you're only probably reaching out. Your demo is only Latino, but it's beyond that.
Yeah, it's pretty often, man. I've been doing comedy since 2009. I'm 43 years old, man. I started when I was 29 years old, dog. And yeah, it's been a crazy trip because I'm in the transition period in the 2010s when things were slowly changing, but not enough. Because I was only able to perform on Refried Fridays at the Improv, Latino night on Monday nights. They're giving us the worst nights of the week also for Latino nights. Monday nights, Tuesday nights, Wednesday nights. That's the time Latinos can perform at these big clubs, dog. It's just now, barely today, in the 2020s, I would say, that it's finally kind of changing, dog. But I was still during that transition period where, like, I didn't know any better, so I didn't really care. I just wanted to get on stage, dog. I'm from Huntington Park, born and raised. I still live there. Yeah, I need a ride, in fact, if anybody can take me home after the show. But, and that's all I know. I know Huntington Park. I know, and that's where I perform. Montebello, East LA, Whittier, the places that had Latino night, comedy nights on a Friday night and a Saturday night. Those are the places I had to go, and that's where I grew. And yes, I am a Latino comedian, bro. But I don't have to tell you that on stage, dog. I sound like this, I look like this. I'm not gonna come up on stage and remind motherfuckers all the time, guess what, I'm a Latino, Latinos do this, the Latinos do that. I got more to say than that, fool. I got kids to talk about, I got exes, babies, mamas, family, jobs. I got all that real stuff to talk about that anybody from any background, race can relate to, dog. And thank you for Edwin for, like, he saw that in me. And he gave me the opportunity, he gave me that platform to get on HBO Max, a dream that I thought I would never fulfill, especially this early in my career. Only about 8 years into my career, dog. A lot of comedians wait 10, 20 years to get on HBO. After 8 years of comedy, I was on it thanks to this man right here, man. So thank you.
Let me add to that, because whoever didn't see it coming, whoever didn't see that talent, and whoever didn't see that audience that he was tapping into, when it was released, and I think I might have shown you the text when it, like, people were hitting me, oh, I get it, I see it, like, but it was after the fact,
yeah.
Right? And that's how sometimes in the industry, you kind of have to show them, because they don't get it, they don't understand, they're not part of our community. So you have to kind of usher them in and walk them in.
Right.
And we did it in a cost-effective way, but we showed them once it was up there, you know, that you were appealing to everybody. And then because of Orlando, because of Jerry, because of Gina, everybody, the doors just kept opening for other comedians to just get on there. And the audience just kept getting bigger and bigger. And when I bumped into this guy right here, Alfred, he was already traveling the world. Like, you know, he was out there doing shows, traveling, but I know that he had an idea, he had a vision. He also had his own audience that he was growing. So the goal with him and I for like 2 years, we just sit and maneuver and talk about what the next goal is. And then finally I was able to bring him in and usher him in through the program. And how was that experience for you?
Bro, thank you first. And
also, I took him out of his comfort zone. I took him out of LA and took him to New York. During New York Comedy Festival, it was dope. Yeah.
That was dope. It was kind of different for me because I was already touring with Gabriel, and I had like a goal. They kept telling Edwin, "Hey man, I just want to branch out and do my own tour and going on my own." And that's how we started, dude. And a lot of what it is with a lot of Latinos is we just focus on one thing and we get comfortable, and we never want to leave our little comfort zone, bro. So when I left my comfort zone, bro, I skyrocketed, bro, and I'm doing great. And it was because of Edwin who gave me that extra fucking push and tell me, "Hey, fool, you can do it on your own, dog. Dale God's way." And he gave me that HBO credit, and he put me on the show, and he took a risk, and it worked out for me, man.
But look what he also showed up for himself, though. I know he's giving me the credit, but he showed up for himself, and he was able to move with me while I wanted to take him out of that comfort zone and put him into places where he wasn't performing before. And that's all. I think all of us in here, our main goal is to get out of that comfort zone, do things for ourselves, and show the industry that if they're not gonna mess with us, then we're gonna work with each other and push forward. And that's how Joey and I first connected. I think we did our first deal over, what was it? What was the restaurant?
California Pizza Kitchen.
Yeah, we were just at a restaurant. He told me his idea, and I said, all right, let's do it. And it was just that simple, you know. And then that project got sold to Comedy Central. There was distribution for it. It was rep by CAA, but again, it just took somebody to see the vision, you know. And he had a vision. I just wanted to help and support. Like with everybody else here, I know they're giving me the credit, but they show up for themselves. Like the credit goes to them. I was just there to highlight them.
And now I feel like with social media, we have the power now too. We don't have to wait for the clubs or nothing like that anymore. We can just say, hey man, these are my numbers on social media, this is my clip, and a lot of people see me. So now we have the power, and I think it's great, man.
I'm glad you touched on that, because I'll tell you that a lot of comedians ask me like, how do I get on HBO? How do I get on Netflix? And I always tell them like, you don't have to wait for that logo. Like you don't need the logo. You have YouTube. Everybody else is utilizing YouTube. The music industry discover a lot of talent through YouTube, and now comedians are selling out and being discovered just because of that platform. That platform has launched more comedians than Netflix and HBO has in the last 3 years. So trust me when I tell you, like, don't wait. Like, if you believe in your talent, invest in yourself, and there's a big platform out there. And if you're gonna tell me that, oh, I'm gonna get lost on YouTube, then I'm gonna tell you, oh, okay, so you're not gonna get lost on Netflix with Stranger Things. You're not gonna get lost on HBO with Game of Thrones and all these other big behemoth projects. You know, like, it's just about the work that you put in and how much you believe in yourself, to be honest.
Are there any comedians or wannabe comedians here tonight? Is that the reason you're here? Okay, cool. So we'll cover a little bit of that. Go for it. That's all I'm going to say. If you haven't done it yet, or if you're doing it, keep going. One of the beautiful things about being a stand-up comedian is that we're individual. We don't need another person to help us. I remember when I first started trying to do sketches or little videos, I had to get somebody with a light, I had to get another guy with a camera, I had to get another guy with a mic, so I ended up buying my own stuff, so I don't have to do that anymore. But I hate it depending on other people, and I've always hated that. Comedy, you don't. I mean, the most person you depend on is the person that books you, right? But there's always open mics, and I would always say grab every stage you can. When I first started doing stand-up comedy, I would go, when there was no room for me to perform, I would go to karaoke nights. And I would just tell everybody, okay, people, I can't sing, but I'm going to tell some jokes. And sometimes it was awkward, sometimes it was weird. One time I did stand-up comedy on the subway in New York City, and I thought that was awesome. I got robbed, but that's all right. That's a whole different story. Luckily, I left most of my money at home. But you know, it's just do it. Being a comedian is very close to being a musician. We're the only ones that go to work on a day off, right? Because it's true, we'll go to a comedy club even if we're not booked, just to hang out. And we'll go up on stage even if we're not getting paid, because that's what we do. We're artists. We need to sell our thing. We need to tell. I remember watching Jerry when he first started. I'm like, oh, he's cute, he's funny, whatever. But then I didn't see him for a few years, and I watched him do a set, and I think you remember this. I was like, holy shit, dude, you've grown. You know, like, it's he was just so much more polished, and it was fun to watch him, because he would do a perspective that I wasn't doing. You know, I don't, like for instance, you know, he recognizes his children and I don't, so that's the difference between us. Which is my mistake, is I could have so much more material. But yeah, if you're a comedian or you're thinking about doing stand-up comedy, just do it. Just get up there and start doing it. I used to be a professional boxer before I was a comic, and comedy and boxing are identical. Actually, I think stand-up comedy is a little more dangerous, but other than that, it's pretty much the same.
And I'll add to that from the production side of things. When I wanted to start producing content, nobody wanted to give me a shot, right? Even my own friends that were doing projects, they're like, you never produced anything. So legitimately, I sat with like 2 or 3 comedians. I curated the project, invested in myself. I want to say that it was probably like a $7,000 little special comedy special, right? An hour and a half, 3 comedians. But that little project led me to 6 one-hour things with Netflix. Like from that $7,000 investment led me to 6. And then from that 6 on Netflix, led me to the HBO. The jump really happened like that. And that's all I can say is that you gotta show up for yourself. Like if you believe that this is what you're gonna do, just kind of put the passion in there, give it some TLC. Like if you care, like curate it. And then, and trust me, when I tell you that my first production, I had a 500-seater theater and only 50 people showed up. Like, I don't know if you know that, but that theater looks empty and it feels empty even with laughter. And I remember going home thinking like I'm a failure. Woke up the next day, looked at the footage. I said, oh, I can salvage this. And then I just went in, salvaged it, sold it to Redbox. This is like 2011. Got my money back and a little bit of profit. But that is what led me to the Netflix.
And for all the comics that are out there, the best advice we could give you guys is just go up on stage, man. That's the best thing we could say.
As often as possible.
Yeah.
And don't be afraid. Like it's like I had the worst stage fright in the world. I used to have to wear, when I first started doing stand-up comedy, I used to have to wear dark glasses because I was so afraid to see the audience and have.
You were drunk, fool.
And so yeah, I was really, really nervous. So don't be afraid. You got it. You can do it. And there's no wrong. There's no wrong or right. Just go up there, be yourself, and you know, and the world will start opening up to you.
Yeah. For me, real quick, as far as that, yeah. So like I started at 29 years old. So I thought I started really late in my life. It was always a dream of mine to be a comedian since high school, middle school, class clown, all that bill. But it took me a long time to get through the stage fright as well. Finally get on stage. But when I hit the stage at 29, dog, I got teenagers right now. They're 15 and 16 right now. They're chiquitos, like 2 or 3 years old. And I left them like after I would go from work straight to a mic. And I realized that I gotta take advantage of this opportunity right now because time is flying, my kids are growing, they're gonna take up more of my time as they grow up. So I gotta take advantage of every stage I could and Chicano's way, like I was on a stage every night of the week. Obviously most of the time, if not every time, for free, dog, no money. I didn't start getting paid until like my 3rd year in comedy, dog. And so, and I didn't give a shit, man. I just wanted to get better, and I think, you know,
everything he has. Hey, listen, we've got, I'm sorry, I heard we've got 3 minutes. Do we have any questions? Seriously? How do you know about the material? The material, stand-up comedy can be anything. It really can. There are people, like you know, there are people that say you can't talk about this, you can't talk about that. That's bullshit. If you can make it funny, you can talk about it. It could be anything.
And we all have a different journey, man. We all have a different journey. You probably can have a different journey than us, but that doesn't mean you can't make it, man. I was in the police academy. I got kicked off of the police academy, and that's when I started doing comedy.
You're talking about the movie, not the real movie. You have another question, man? There's another question? Over here? Somebody had their hand up. All right, no? Yeah. Yes? How do you what? I'm sorry.
Great question.
How do I best leverage social media to grow as a comedian?
Well, I'm still on MySpace, so I can't help you with that.
You know what you should do? You should post every day. And if you're not putting content out, post pictures or just post every day. That's the key, is posting every day. From March, I went from 48,000 followers to now I'm at 165,000. And it's just posting every day, man. It's posting every day. That's what did it for me.
Yeah, and you know what? If you
also post what you like, what you want, how you want to connect to your audience. If you know who your audience is, that's who you want to talk to.
Yeah, and there's so many other people that are good at it. Like I have a lot of friends who have any social media questions. They're great at it. I always ask them. And that goes with life. Always ask people who've done it, ask people who are good at it, and hopefully he'll teach you the right way to do it.
Yeah, and you're never too young or too old to do something.
That's true. Except picking up your keys. Sometimes I'm just like, dude, man, I can't bend over, bro.
So do we have any more questions about it? We only have a couple of you in the back.
Hi, thank you. My name is Rebecca Ranza. How do you, and I came a little bit late, so I'm sorry. How do you not come off as preachy or renegada when you are delivering your what you really feel? You know, like, sorry, I don't like bikers that don't do the directions because I don't know what they're doing. So how do I do that without sounding renegada, or is it okay for me to be renegada?
For me, I'll take that one. Like my whole act is fucking venting about life, my kids, the struggle. That's my whole thing. It's how you deliver your stage presence. At the end of the day, I want to obviously let people know that I am a stand-up comedian. I am having fun. These are literally fucking jokes, right? Obviously, I love my kids. I love my kids. Like, you have to love. You have to love the kid. You have to love. That's what the judge told me. You have to love the kid, right? You have to. And maybe write it down 10 times. It's crazy, but it's all the delivery, it's all the stage presence. Have fun with it, it's material. At the end of the day, we're entertainers, and just have fun with it, bro. But if it's an event, run with it.
Yeah, you're always going to be able to tweak it too. Don't worry about it. Okay, I think that's one more.
I think she has a question right here.
One more, that's it, yeah.
You.
Chiquitita.
Last one for real.
Come on, Gio.
Hi. So I do comedy, and I do mostly in film. So I write, direct, and I act in my films. So I was gonna ask, like, if I don't do stand-up necessarily, do you have any advice if I'm doing my comedy only in film?
Yes, I got that. Okay. I'm good at this. All you have to do, honestly, it's all the same, right? There's setup, punchline, setup, punchline, setup, punchline. And just because something is funny on paper doesn't mean it's funny on the screen. So you have to take the idea you have and just make it funny on the screen. And I know that sounds easier said than done, but it's the same setup. So all you do is you set it up, and then you do the punchline. And that's it. Guys, thank you so much. Really love being part of this. I can't believe they made the comedians wake up this early to come. But
and the days that only certain people can make it are over. We could all make it, guys.
Yes, that's right. Everybody here can follow your dream and complete it.
So thank you.
Come on, give it up.
Thank you so much.
Take a picture.
This is history because they're all old. Probably never happen again.